WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys, a single cask from Jura. It doesn't get much rarer than that. 150 bottles in total, Whiskybase number 244882. This is part of the first editions here from Hunter Lang, and this was bottled for a shop in Stuttgart, Germany called Bestwhisky. So 52.9% ABV, distilled 2011, bottled 2023, 11 years old, and it says cask type Sherry Hogsheads. Now, one of 150 bottles from a Sherry Hogshead, that's not much. It should be double that amount. A Hogshead is usually 250 liters. You can get 300 bottles out of it with 0.7 liters. Is this a cask share? I don't know. Really, it doesn't matter. 79 euros. Now, the color is natural. The cask strength is natural. And so let's talk a little bit about Jura. Now, there's two distilleries we whiskey connoisseurs, geeks, freaks, whatever you want to call us, love to hate. And one of them is Dalmore, and the other one is often Jura. They both belong to White and Mackay. All right, and so according to my nice little book here, this is the 2022 book of the Malt Whiskey Yearbook. It says that Jura actually has a fermentation time here of 54 hours. I have to open the right page again here. Why did I lose my page? Here we go. Interesting enough that the book from 2024 says 60 hours. Have they changed something? I don't know. All right. They did say, and I did not know that, okay, if we go back in the timeline, just very briefly here, we see the distillery actually reopens here in 1963. 1985, Invergordon Distilleries acquires Charles McInlay and Co. from Scottish and Newcastle. And then 1993, White and Mackay buys Invergordon Distillers. All right, so what happens is that in the 1990s and before that actually, Jura, the distillery, I visited them 2022. We went from Isla with the ferry. You have this one track road on the entire island. You have more deer there than you do have people. It's very, very off the beaten path. All right, so what they did back then is they reused the casks. So when White and Mackay took over, we're going to recask everything. We're going to put it into first fill bourbon at least, maybe first fill sherry, and so on. And so they actually, between the years 1998 and 2016, they recast 30,000 casks, which means they filled the old liquid into new, better casks so that we have actually a maturation process here. That is fantastic, to be honest. What I also didn't know is that Jura actually has normally 2 weeks a year of peated whiskey production. Now, in the year 2023, it was basically impossible to get peated malt. And so they didn't make any peated malt in 2023. Their plan is, though, in 2024 to do 6 weeks of peated malt to make up for it. Where they're getting the malt from, is it Glen Elsk? Is it someplace else? I don't know, but it usually is around 45 ppms. And also what is very interesting, in the years 21 and 22, they actually replaced the pot stills. Two of the spirit stills and one of the wash stills, the pots, the bottom part, were actually replaced. The year before that, one of the wash stills was replaced, and I think also the tops of the neck was also replaced. Copper just wears out over time, so they have to do that every once in a while. Jura has been discussing for quite a while now, hey, let's increase the capacity. And then when I was there, I talked with one of the people. They also changed their general manager as well as their head distiller last year. So there's a new change in the guard, so new ideas, new things. When I was there in 2022, it was like, hey, we don't know how we can get CO2 neutral by 2030, 2035. Whatever the date is, the single malt has to be CO2 neutral. They're like, hey, we can't do it. All right? On this island, Jura, we just don't have the infrastructure for it. We just don't know how to do it. And I'm sure there will be ways, electricity, hydrogen, other possibilities to make the distillery green and then at the same time to increase capacity. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's a great distillery to keep. Let's just say that. There has to be some changes that happens. When I visited them, I think that's where I caught COVID-19. It was very interesting. The day we were there, they were like, oh, the master distillers, and they're all at home. They just called in sick with COVID. Would you like to have a tour? And I was like, all right, yeah, let's have a tour. And 2 days later, I was like, I'm going to die. I think, oh, I got COVID. Yay. So that's one of my best experiences with the Jura. I don't hold it against them. It was everything okay. It was great. It was me. Had to happen sooner or later. And so that was good. But I think the distillery is is a hidden gem in the whiskey world. But they do need to change some of their core range products. Now, you want to blow my mind? Jura is still 2023 the most sold single malt in the UK. Yeah, Glenfiddich sells just a little bit less than Jura. How can Jura be the best selling single malt of the UK? Not of the world, not of Europe, UK. All right, so they used to have 7.5% of the market share. Now it's 7.1, but it's still ahead of Glenfiddich. It's still ahead of Glenlivet. It's not ahead of Johnny Walker because Johnny Walker's not a single malt, but still, it's ahead. And I get to have a single barrel cask strength sherry hogshead independently bottled. That's kind of cool. All right, so what am I going to compare it with? I'm going to compare it with one of my favorite at the moment single bottled, single barrel cask strength whiskeys. This is from a whiskey shop. This was Whiskey Shop Best Whiskies in Stuttgart. This is the Whiskey for Life shop in Frankfurt, Germany. Frank Jaeger. This is Peter. So Frank versus Peter here. Glengarry. Now, this is a bourbon barrel. This is a sherry barrel. You do notice the difference here. But I really like this. And I just had a hankering for it. And so I was like, why not? Let's just do this here. It has a little bit more of a bite. This is 11 years old. This is 10 years old. We have 59.8% ABV. Just to be transparent here, this is Whiskybase 216515. And this is, as I mentioned before, 244882. Both 79 euros. Both 10, 11 years old, both single barrels. We actually got out of a bourbon barrel 237 bottles. And out of a sherry hogshead that has 50% more liters in it, we only got 150. Did have a leak. I think it's a cash. I really do think it's a cash share. All right, it's not the first time Jura and First Editions have done a cash share. So, on the nose, it's got a very interesting nose. I get a tiny little bit of graham cracker spice. I get a little bit of a mineral, a little bit like a chalky moment going in there. I get honey, and I get a little bit of apples. Now, if I read the label, I'm going to actually have here just tasting notes. It says here green apples, blossoms. I never get blossoms. And a distinct almond note. Now, almond could be marzipan. How do you make marzipan? You take almond flour and you make it with sugar and you a little bit of rose water in there. You have marzipan. A lot of sugar, I forgot to mention. This has, okay, I can go with marzipan here. It's got a very nice nose. This is C+, B- nose. This, the Glengarry. Oh, that's Glengarry. Both of them have a little bit of waxiness going on in there. Oh, I think I can get the distillery character here, despite the sherry. Now, there is no sulfur. That's very, very good. I'm hypersensitive to sulfur. Every once in a while. That's really weird because I also got that what someone else wrote here in Whiskybase. Oats. oatmeal, oats. I'll just get in the little right-hand corner of the glass. No, yep. And it's got a maltiness. It's got a grain. No, I can't use the word grain. Maltiness, oatiness moment going on in here. So that's great. This much clearer, a little bit more of a lemon drop moment going on with this. This is good stuff. I have 86.5 points over here for that. I have 86.3 points going on over here for this. So cheers. Mm. Mm. The thing that always hits me with this whiskey, this is the fourth, fifth, sixth time I've had it in glass. It's heat. At the very beginning, there's heat. It got some peppery moment going on in there. This needs some water. Yes, I understand, Jason. You're too weak. It only has 52.9%. Try a Elijah Craig Barrel Proof at 67%. No problem. This a problem. It has a lot more of a heat moment going on in here, and the best way to enjoy the whiskey is the way you like it, and I like this whiskey diluted down. 50%, maybe even 49%, even though it is 11 years old, even though 52.9% is cask strength, it's just too hot. Now, if I take this to 59.8%, there's a little bit of heat, but it's very enjoyable. I don't need to water this down. This I do. You need to actually spend some time with your whiskeys, get to know them, find out that sweet spot that you really like, and just go with it. I get more of the wood. It's like, is this American oak? Is this European oak? I'm torn. I go, it's more American oak, but every once in a while I get that spiciness of the European oak in there as well. So, mm. They have very tall stills, so they get a nice fruity, lighter spirit. With water, you have a honey, a waxy moment going on in here even. It says here, nutty on the palate with a pleasant, earthy, vegetal note leading into a long, savory finish. Now with water, this can be a C+. Without water, it's a little bit on the hot side, C. There is a definite sherry influence. It's an earthy type of sherry. It's a little bit more of the marzipan still in there, that almond moment. You have the green apples. This is a good whiskey. Now, is it a wow whiskey? No, but it's a good whiskey, especially with some water in there. So, C, let's go for a C plus for taste. Value for money, 79 euros. I do have the rule that says, okay, I should be willing, I don't have to be, I should be willing to pay 10 euros per year if it's a single cask in cask strength, no added color, no chill filtration. This is an authentic whiskey. This is everything we need, and it's 79 euros, and I'm still complaining a bit. This is 79 euros. I'm not complaining as much. My taste profile measurement for money says, sorry, Peter, 69 euros. All right, these. 59.8%. A little bit heat. Also waxiness. Oh, that's so good. I just love a good Glengarry. And it doesn't have to even be in a sherry cask and be just in a bourbon barrel. Wow. My plans for the future are, I'm now a member of SMWS, the Single Malt Whiskey Society, and I'm going to look out, see if I can find a Jura single cask matured. I'm going to look out. There was a Glengarry online in the outturn of this month, and it was gone. It was there for a week, and someone wrote, oh, look, there's a Glengarry. And then my groups were, oh, okay, click, 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 and where they're gone. They sold out really. I just love a good Glengarry. I expect Glengarry to do great, great things, and I expect Jura did great things. Now, most of the stuff you get in travel retail, most of the stuff you get in a whiskey shop, it's 40%. It has coloring. It just bothers me. I just want the pure, unadulterated moment. When we're at the distillery, we are actually able to try. In the gift shop, there's always a single barrel cask strength. There's always a cask strength. I don't know if it's always single barrel or not. And my partner, my buddy Axel, he was there and he bought it, and it was one of his favorite drinks of the whole trip. And we were on island. His nickname is Axel Island. So, and Jura can make good stuff. So, that's my question. What is your favorite whiskey from Jura? So, next question from the First Editions from Hunter Lang. Have you ever had one? If so, what's your favorite? I don't know if it's on my English channel, but on my German channel at least, I had a 23-year-old Tomor. Oh, that was good. Such great stuff. All right. So, what's your favorite whiskey from Jura? What's your favorite whiskey from First Editions? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others. These are whiskey bottles, 150, 237. You're not going to find outside of Germany. But it's really, really interesting to compare the two and to differentiate and just to be able to figure out the differences and just what you prefer, what I prefer, what we like, what we dislike. But both of those have a wonderful waxy texture with a little bit of water. So, maybe the third question, what is the waxiest whiskey you've ever had? And don't just say Kleinisch, because that's often the case. Thank you. See you real soon. Whiskey Jason. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and tell others. Bye-bye.